Early days, before the growth of internet era, conventionalists have put the nocturnal workers at a great disadvantage. Those night owls were always seen as poor choices for employees because people believed that their nocturnal living habits allegedly stifle their productivity. There was some truth in it long time ago, but nowadays it's a myth. Recent studies show that passionate night owls with a completely different light. So, it made me curious to analyze the nighttime productivity, which now rivals the daytime productivity. First, let's look at the productivity during the nighttime. Unique energy burst in the evening. Sometimes you may have also experienced this phenomenon. With the day's work over and hustle-bustle of the outside world is dying down, nature is coming back to its original low entropy. This settling atmosphere is able to give a sense of calmness to your mind, resulting in new energy boosts to get over with your unfinished work. Night owls, on the other hand, is able to enrich this energy peak that naturally occurs in the evening to its maximum. They feel refreshed and ready for action. A better concentration after long hours. A study conducted by a joint team of scientists from Belgium and Switzerland conducted a trial with 16 early birds and 15 night owls in an attempt to compare their productivity and concentration. Although both groups performed similarly in the beginning, somewhere around the 10-hour mark into the day, early birds have shown a significant lagging in their productivity. During this study, the team used MRIs to monitor the regions of the brain that are responsible for our ability to focus and pay attention. Professor Christina Schmidt led this experiment, but the entire project included quite a large team and was published in the Science Journal. Our ability to concentrate has a lot to do with our productivity, and the facts are actually stacked in favor of night owls. Most people are driven by the quietness at night. The difference in day and nighttime is that the time pass. Business and loudness at day begins to rise up, while at night with time, it decreases effectively. This results the productivity in day to deplete from the moment it started, while in night, the productivity begins to build up as the time pass. So, if you are much closer to the night owl in the spectrum, you have the advantage of experiencing more than one energy burst during your work time and have a much longer serenity in the environment that helps you to concentrate for much longer hours compared to daybirds. But don't be too hasty. Just like its merits, night owls face some demerits during its time. Just like we were told by our parents and grandparents, it is bad for their sleeping pattern. And this negative effect is something that their early rising counterparts do not have to face. Also, depression is 3 times more present with night owls than their counterparts, according to a study published in Psychiatry and Clinical Neuroscience. And this can be attributed to 2 factors. Less exposure to sunlight can cause a deficiency of vitamin D, which can lead to depression. This is something that you need to keep in mind and adjust your diet to compensate for this loss. Again, there is nothing better than the natural way of things. So take a vacation amidst your work, or take a week to spend time outdoors, soaking in the sun and getting some fresh air. Furthermore, the pattern to be awake and active when everyone is asleep makes socialization a bit difficult to accomplish, the lack of which can cause depression as well. Still, if you manage to get these 2 factors under control, you are going to be far more effective than you thought you could be. Since we looked at both merits and demerits in the nighttime productivity, let's put some limelight on daybirds. Here, I will not try to greatly analyze, as majority of us have been daybirds most of our time. I'll go through the specialities I found in daybirds when compared to night owls. The greatest energy burst during the 24 hours. It may be true that night owls face multiple energy bursts during their chosen time, but the highest energy burst one can receive from nature is in the early in the morning. It makes sense, right? The world is awakening, the air is not polluted, and the breeze is so calm and soothing to the body. Even the activities that are happening around you gives any person the attitude to continue their desired work with utmost pleasure and productivity. According to the social analysis, morning is the best time for creativity. Creative thoughts born in your mind without much effort, and the scenery of a world's awakening is able to build optimism to the peak in one's mind while suppressing the pessimistic thoughts. While the night is lonesome, morning is not busy but full of activity. This gives a strong compel to anyone to see the positivity in life and continue to work for their success. Morning gives you the reason and courage to believe in yourself. Now, let's look at the comparison chart of productivity, which gives you a clear differentiation between nighttime productivity and daytime productivity. Nighttime productivity, pros. Have couple of unique energy bursts since the evening. Best time for critical thinking, memorization, and tasks that take longer time to complete. Have a high probability of maintaining the productivity increasingly or constantly with the time. Physical strain is very low. Nighttime productivity cons. Have a great impact on your sleeping pattern, resulting in mental strain. Depression is 3 times more present with nocturnal workers than their counterparts. Socialization becomes a bit difficult. Daytime productivity pros. The highest energy burst one can receive is in the early morning near sunrise. Best time for creativity and imagination. Both your productivity and health can be maintained without much effort. Mental strain is very low. Daytime productivity cons. Have a steady depletion in your energy and productivity throughout the day. Shows a considerable physical strain. Plenty of distractions take place. As you can see, there are both pros and cons in each time slot, and you must choose the one most comfortable with you. Before we end the video, there are 1 or 2 facts I must highlight which will make it easy for you to reap the greater benefits. It is a misconception and a myth among people saying that it's a bad habit of being active at night and sleeping late in the day. The 9 till 5 schedule is slowly dying out with the rise of the online business model and the globalization of the work environment. So it seems that the situation is getting a bit more favorable for night owls. A big part of the online freelancer community falls into this category, and the majority of them really enjoy the freedom that this work style offers. Also, most people describe themselves as either morning people, day birds, or night people, night owls. However, it turns out that the majority of us are somewhere in between, third birds. So, it would be much wise if you can utilize the both time slots to your favor by organizing your work overlapping the 2 time slots respectively, while having a good sleep. Although we find many daybirds among us, there were famous inventors among night owls, including Edison. Thomas Edison was a night owl who enabled other night owls. He was more likely to be found hard at it in his laboratory at midnight than at midday. From the book When by Daniel Pink.